Lina. Hello, everyone. So nice to have you with us today. I'm going to present first an important thing. This is a collaborative effort, this session, between the two main components of the EIC Innovation Procurement Program, InnoMatch and Spin for EIC. Now I'm going to present you in brief what InnoMatch is about, what benefits and opportunities it has to offer for both the suppliers and the buyers. And right afterwards, as Carolina mentioned, I'll give the floor to my colleague Joanie from Spin for EIC team, who will present the opportunities that Spin for EIC, the other component of the innovation procurement program, has to offer for again the buyers and the suppliers. So what is InnoMatch? InnoMatch is a component, as I've mentioned, of the EIC Innovation Procurement Program. It aims to facilitate the faster commercialization of cutting-edge technologies through procurement, although InnoMatch is not dealing with the procurement process itself. InnoMatch will support throughout its duration the pilot testing or proof of concept demonstration of innovative solutions provided by EIC Awardees. For buyers, it could be private or public buyers, customers. Each pilot, if selected, will run for 6 months within the 12-month InnoMatch program, and we aim to support within InnoMatch project up to 38 pilots with up to 60,000 euro per pilot or a proof of concept. And now InnoMatch in a nutshell. This slide very well explains why we're de-risking innovation procurement. Test before invest is in the core of InnoMatch. We are providing the funding, as I've mentioned, and support for the suppliers to test their solution with a committed buyer. And this is how we help de-risk innovation procurement. And it is important to mention that InnoMatch is basically the step before the actual procurement process. The role of InnoMatch is to bridge the gap between the pilots or the POCs and the actual procurement process that follows after. But InnoMatch is not just about providing the funding, the financing for those POCs or pilots. We are engaging committed buyers, and we are working with committed buyers. This is the keyword here. We have the City of Ghent today with us, one of our committed buyers selected within InnoMatch. So long story short, InnoMatch triggers innovation procurement by providing funding for the pilots and the POCs, and also providing additional support through our InnoMatch mentors throughout the whole InnoMatch program duration, with the main aim for potential adoption of the solution and bringing it faster to market if the solution proves to be successful. A lot of benefits are there that InnoMatch provides for both the EIC awardee and the buyer. For the EIC awardee, of course, we provide access to strategic customers, and we trigger the potential early adoption of the solution. For the buyers, of course, we have to mention that they can address their innovative challenge free of charge, and they will be able to collaborate with top-notch companies that we are selecting through the InnoMatch open calls, cherry-pick companies that will provide a tailored solution to the buyer's needs. I've already mentioned about the financial support, which is granted to the EIC awardee up to 60,000 per POC or pilot, but this is not only about the financing. Again, it's not only about those 60K that the EIC awardee receives. It is also the matchmaking support that we are providing, like the matchmaking session today, but also InnoMatch supports both the buyer and the supplier with networking, promotion and visibility throughout the whole InnoMatch project and program duration. And also, as I've mentioned already, and this is important, we have InnoMatch mentors dedicated to each pilot or proof of concept that are supporting the innovators and the committed buyers throughout their InnoMatch journey. So this is it in a nutshell. And now I'll directly give the floor to my colleague Joanie from the Spin for EIC team, who will present what the other component of the EIC Innovation Procurement Program, Spin for EIC, has to offer for the suppliers and the buyers. Joanie, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Ina. Good morning, everyone. Very nice to meet you. My name is Joanie Paquet. I'm the project manager in charge of the Spin for ESC initiative. I'll be very brief. I think we can go to the next slide, Carolina or Ina. So just to give an overview, as Ina mentioned, the two initiatives of the EIC BAS Innovation Procurement Program are very complementary. Under Speed for EIC, we support both the demand and the supply side of innovation. In terms of the demand, we can partner with public buyers and private buyers like City of Ghent, for instance, to host pitching events. So it's a bit similar to the sessions of today, for instance, but we define a challenge together. You do a reverse pitching, and we select also matching EIC awardees. The EIC awardees are trained, also coached with their pitches, etc. And we make sure that there's an actual match. So it's a bit complementary to InnoMatch in that sense. We also provide assistance to public procurers to launch an innovation procurement procedure, like identification of needs, open market consultations, support in drafting the tender documents, building a business case, and more. So these are free assistance services that we provide on the demand side. And on the supply side, for EIC awardees, we do academies. There's a next slide in a second where actually you can see the call for registrations for the next academy. We also have an online toolkit. I'm happy to put it in the chat in a moment. It's a toolkit really for suppliers of innovation, looking at all the different components of innovation procurement. And also we have an international module, for instance, on countries outside of Europe. Pitching events as well. It's the other flip of the coin. So it's the same as the other pitching events I've already mentioned. And last not the least, we do provide hands-on assistance to EIC awardees in public and private procurement. So we do, this is for free. We do an assessment with them of their needs. We can support with market scanning, identification of tenders, capacity building, reviewing tenders together, so like supporting in the submission process. We don't draft the tender for them, obviously, but it's all about coaching and capacity building. So if you're an EIC awardee and you are anticipating some tenders or even in your contract negotiations with private buyers, we can support here for free with our team of consultants and lawyers. Voilà, so this is just a recap, basically, what's in it for you. So if you are an EIC awardee, I think the main two things for you to look at is the assistance that I just described. So feel free to sync up to our call. Here we have the QR code. This is all the kinds of services that we can provide under the assistance. And the Academy, it's this year, well, yeah, this spring from 20 to 22nd of April. It's a 3 days online, fully online program, 3 half days actually. So it's really to give you a deep dive into what is innovation procurement and how you can leverage it as an innovative startup. So the Academy is really for startups and scale-ups. There's also a third day, a specific focus on Asian market for this edition. So if you're interested in Southeast Asia, South Korea, India, this is probably relevant for you. And assistance to buyers, of course, City of Ghent. I think you're probably already aware of the EIC Innovation Procurement Program, but if you want to check out our assistance services, feel free to look at the page and to reach out to us if you have any questions. I tried to keep it very brief, but happy to take any questions, of course, if you have, or feel free to reach out to us. We also have an online LinkedIn group where We share all our opportunities and all our news, so you're very welcome to join as well. I think if you scan the QR code, you'll get there. So feel free. You're very highly welcome to do so. So, nice
Thank
to
you so
meet
much, Johnny.
you.
Maybe it is good to mention, if you allow me, that InnoMatch companies, both suppliers and buyers, will have direct access to the SPIN services.
Mhm.
Like if they are interested, they can
Yeah,
apply and will get direct access and will get
yeah,
in contact with the SPIN team. So
indeed.
this is something important, being two components of the EIC Innovation Procurement Program and complementing each other. Like the InnoMatch companies are fast-tracked to SPIN for EIC services. So just
Indeed.
a brief mention on that. Okay.
Oh, the some of the POC and pilots that you mentioned. So the decision is the decision. I'm thinking in my head is like the decision tree. Is that still kind of like we do the matchmaking and then and obviously is the city of Ghent is the core decision maker, right?
This
When it
question,
comes
I
to
believe, is
opportunity.
on me. This question is on
Okay.
me, and we have a short info session on the
Mm-hmm.
open call. So basically, we have the challenge of City of Ghent, and I'll present in shortly,
Mm-hmm.
very shortly. So the open call for
Mm-hmm.
EIC, where these will slides will answer to your question. We
Oh,
have
okay.
the City of Ghent Innovation Challenge, and now we are looking for suppliers for this
Mm-hmm.
innovation challenge. Those suppliers will apply to
Mm-hmm.
with a
Got it.
solution, with a proposal to our open call. So we've
Got it.
cherry-picked the companies and we've invited some companies that we believe are the best fit for this to
Mm-hmm.
solve this innovation challenge. But
Got
then
it.
you will prepare a proposal, and that is why
Mm-hmm.
we have, and we'll apply. And that is why we have Jorn from the City of Ghent today with us, who
Mm-hmm.
will explain in detail the renovation challenge. You will be able to ask some questions to clarify it
Got
for
it.
you so that you can prepare afterwards your proposal and you can
Got it.
apply. So this is how
Got it.
it works. And maybe I could, Carolina, if you allow me, I can directly
Please go
proceed
ahead.
with the open call slides. So yeah, we've selected four unmet innovation needs within InnoMatch. City of Ghent innovation need was one of those four. And our colleagues worked with the City of Ghent colleagues to polish their challenge
Mm-hmm.
that is going to be presented later after this presentation. And now we're looking for, as I've already mentioned, EIC awardees for solvers for those innovation challenges, and specifically for today for the City of Ghent Innovation Challenge. If the proposal is selected, you will enter the InnoMatch program, 12 months. You'll have 6 months to deploy the pilot or the POC, the POC within those 12 months, and you will be supported along the way with again the InnoMatch mentors. This is the logic. A bit more about the open call. The applications could be submitted by April 17th. This is important. The applicant should be IC awardees that have a contract or grant signed within the Horizon Europe program period. All of those companies that we have invited to this matchmaking session today are such EIC awardees, but again, this is important to mention. 4 pilots will be awarded, 1 pilot per challenge, so 1 pilot for the City of Ghent will be selected as a result, and will receive up to 60,000 euro in the form of a lump sum. So this is in a nutshell about the open call. And then here we have the 4 challenges that we have selected, the 4 innovation challenges, and one of those is the City of Ghent under this thematic area. Again, I mentioned here about the EIC awardees. This is important eligibility criteria. So this should be companies from either EIC Pathfinder, Transition, or Accelerator, or companies that are EIC prize winners. This is important, but again, all of the companies invited for this matchmaking are already such companies. We made sure to check these criteria, important criteria. Then your proposals will be evaluated based on the 4 evaluation criteria for this open call. They are explained in detail in the open call guidelines. I will show you later on. All of the documents are available on the InnoMatch website. So we have alignment and impact criterion, which invites the applicants to show how they align with the open call objectives. The excellence criteria is focused on demonstrating the technical soundness of the solution that you're proposing, its scalability, feasibility, and to present an overall measurement model. The commitment criteria is in red, marked in red. Why? Because this is our criteria with the biggest weight. 40%, where the applicants must explain how the challenge aligns with their business strategy and to provide the information on the TRL and of the proposed solution. Details, again, are available in the guidelines, but also in the proposal template that you have to fill. Everything is explained there in a lot of detail. And the final criteria is the team and implementation, where the applicants must show evidence that the team has the necessary skills, infrastructure, management experience to deploy the pilot supported by the buyer. Documentation, as I've mentioned, all the documents are available on the InnoMatch website. After the presentation, I'll put the link in the chat. The guidelines for applicants is the Bible of the open call. You have to read it carefully. Then we have the application form, just a read-only file where you will see what are the questions in the online application form. The application happens online through the F6S platform, very straightforward process. You have to fill in the proposal template, attach it in the online application form, and you're done. Then there are other documents that are not required at application stage, but might be already interesting for both you and the buyer, such as the sub-grant agreement that the suppliers are signing once they're selected, the action plan template that you will prepare before you start the pilot deployment, and the memorandum of understanding. This is a template prepared by the InnoMatch team, a document that has to be signed between the buyer and the supplier before they start the deployment, the actual pilot deployment. This is the indicative timeline of the open call. It was launched mid of February. It will run until mid of April. Then we'll follow with the eligibility check and evaluation and selection. And hopefully by the end of May, beginning of June, we'll start the contracting with the selected companies. As I've mentioned, one proposal will be selected for each of the innovation challenges. So we're looking to select one pilot for the City of Ghent challenge at the end of the day. Some open call tips. Again, reminder, please do read the open call documents. This is important. Make sure that there isn't any conflict of interest. No double funding rule as well, very important. Do not forget to fill in and attach your proposal to the online application form and submit it through the F6S platform. And this would be it on my end.
Wonderful. Good. Then in this case, I'll give the floor to Jorn so you can introduce the City of Ghent and their challenge. All right?
Hi, good morning. I will introduce the challenge that we have and maybe a bit about our organization, the project that I would like to invest my time into. So maybe shortly about the company that I work for. So the City of Ghent is the third largest city in Belgium. We have more than 270,000 residents. We're quite a large municipal organization with over 6,000 employees. We deliver quite a wide range of public services, including like mobility, urban planning. We work environment policy, culture, education, social care, digital services. So almost everything you can imagine. So the procurement department for which I work manages a portfolio which is worth around 200 million euros. So it's and this is not all the procurement contracts; it's only a part of it. The procurement team consists of 25 people, including 12 procurement officers who handle the core tendering work. We try to position ourselves as a strong player regarding government tech and artificial intelligence. It's quite a priority for our, also for the political organization. We do this through collaborations with universities, research centers, but also in European networks. And that way we want to invest into digital innovation. I would say that because of this ecosystem and infrastructure, we are quite well placed as a test bed for new solutions that could improve public procurement process. So maybe I'll shortly introduce the team. This is not everyone that will work on the project. These are the people who will lead the project. So there's me. I work for the procurement department. I'm a project manager. I used to be a functional analyst and also in IT, so I do have some experience with IT projects, which is, I think, quite a large advantage working on business side. And then there's also Kjell van Mechelen. He works for our IT partner. So we have like an internal IT partner who only works for us. It's a kind of special subdivision of the city. He's a business analyst. He's the main contact partner for on our IT side. But like I said, this is not everyone that will work on the project. These are the two people who will be leading the project. And then, of course, if we need other people for certain expertise, they will be included for sure. So firstly, I will discuss what the issue is. So what is the problem that I'm trying to solve? So right now, drafting procurement specifications, it's a fundamental step in every public tender. It's something that we have to do, right? But it's a very slow, largely manual and resource-intensive process. Like I said, we have 12 people working on this only for our city, and this is not for all procurements. This takes up almost, I would say, writing the specifications takes up almost half of their time. So you can imagine 12 people, 20 hours a week. That's quite a large time investment, right? It takes a lot of time because you have to combine technical requirements, legal causes, evaluations, criteria, and different templates. You have to coordinate all of this information with legal advisors, the end users that will use the products, quite often with the managers of their departments. So this means that it's a very resource-intensive process, like I said. In practice, this work is still done mainly right now with static templates, some office tools, but mainly a lot of copy-pasting. So we copy-paste from earlier documents, from emails. So this is not, I would say, it kind of works, but it comes with a lot of challenges. And the drafting process is very slow. It can take weeks before a specification is ready and legally compliant. And weeks, I can even say for certain specifications, it takes months, up to 8 months for some of them if they are very large. This is because, well, a lot of our specifications on average are between 50 and 100 pages. So they are very long. We have a lot of different clauses that we want to include. So this takes a lot of time. At the same time, because this takes a lot of time, right? There are quite often inconsistencies, especially with contracts, because we have a lot of different people. They have a lot of different interpretations of how they should include certain clauses or things that we want to include. And this takes a lot of time, right? And it also causes errors, which can create legal risks. In some cases, this can even lead to annulments of tenders, which is a huge problem because you invest a lot of time. It can take up to months. Then the legal tender can get annulled and we have to start over again. This means that we lose months of work, which is, of course, the last thing that we would like. It's very important to state that these challenges are not unique to our organizations, not at all, right? And I would say that public authorities in Europe all face similar issues, since we are bound by the same European directives. Of course, there are some differences, but still, we are bound by the same laws. So everyone has these same issues. The impact is quite significant, right? Like I said, there's a lot of time spent on repetitive drafting tasks, which delays our projects or our contracts. And this reduces our capacity for more strategic procurement work. For example, like we have almost no time to discuss on a regular time frame with like suppliers to talk about the contracts. There's no time for this because we have to invest so much time into creating these legal documents.
Yeah, I just want to say I completely agree. I was just in Zurich doing same thing for Zurich Insurance, exactly on solving the same problem.
Yeah. I know that we're certainly not the only one. I have a lot of, well, I will get to this, but there are also a lot of other parties that I know in my network who are very interested in this project because, well, they have the exact same problem right now. So, and they also, this is, I think, is something very European almost, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe even outside of Europe as well.
Yeah, as long as large enterprises that you gotta, because is that the message is like value leakage too, right? Even from existing vendors, and yeah, I understand completely the problem, but I just want to, I 100% agree with what we're seeing in the market as well. Yeah.
So, like I said, there are many guidelines. We train our people. We have like template libraries, but still we have these underlying inefficiencies. And at the same time, we do notice that technological solutions in this area, specifically for public procurement, are still quite limited and largely experimental. And then considering that like public procurement represents around 14% of the European GDP, and this is, I would say, there's a lot of opportunity in this market, right? And improving this process could be very important for efficiency, transparency, but also cost saving, which I think is almost a topic in almost every European public authority at the moment. So this is why I think it's quite important to talk about this, right? So in the next slide, I want to talk about what our goal is, right? I would say that the main goal, of course, is to accelerate and partially automate the drafting of procurement specifications, while we still ensure that there is legal compliance. We want to improve consistency, reduce errors, and by doing that, we aim to shorten preparation time and reduce legal risks. At the same time, I also believe that a kind of AI system could help preserve and share expert knowledge across the organization, because this is quite often a very difficult thing to do in a big organization. You have certain specialists who do have some knowledge, but they work with a lot of different people. But other people do not have the same knowledge, which makes it, well, it costs us a lot of time because we always have to coordinate back and forth. So we want to improve, I would say, on average, the specifications that we make. I also think that we could, to ensure reliability, the system that we would like to use should use explainable and editable AI outputs, right, with human-in-the-loop approach, so that we still have like a kind of procurement experts. They remain in control of the final specifications, which of course I think it's a logical thing, right? They need to validate what any tool brings forward to them, so that we are sure they still have the main responsibility of the end product, right? I also wrote down some KPIs for the project, right? Because I want to validate this. What I want to do is, with this project, I want to show not only to our organization, but also to other organizations that this kind of technology is worth investing in, right? And it can maybe in a short or medium term can really lead to more efficiency and also, time savings. My ideal thing is to reduce the time needed for the first draft by at least 50%, right? I do think this is possible because right now it does take a lot of time, while also ensuring that at least the first draft represents about 75% of the final document, right? So you want to do it in half the amount of time. And let's say maybe after some back and forth for the first draft, I would not say is the first response you get, but at least the first document that you save, and this is kind of worthy of presenting to other partners, right? To, for example, the legal department. So if there's then 55% ready already, that would be a huge deal, I would say. And it would be very easy then to convince not only people in our organization, but also outside of our organization that this technology is really already ready for the market. I would love to have at least, let's say, 50% of specifications written with this tool. Not for the pilot, of course, that's not realistic, I would say, because I want to focus on a smaller amount of specifications. And what I also think is very important is that there's a kind of user satisfaction, right? I want to, well, of course, I will heavily include the procurement officers that we have in the project, and I will talk to them about how happy they are with the product that we are delivering. Because if I can show again numbers like, hey, for the satisfaction score is like 4 out of 5, I think this would be a very good argument as to why we should use this kind of tool.
Got it. A quick question: what's the difference between the 50% and the 75%? Because it's like also first draft equal to 75 versus 50 plus the efficiency between the.
So the efficiency, I mean that. So I will. I'm measuring the amount of time that it takes to get to a first draft. The first draft is quite often the document we send towards the legal department.
The time spent. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then the quality is like. I would say the amount of remarks we get from the legal department. This is like, I want to, so if we now get like 10 remarks, if we do it in half the amount of time, I would like not to get more than like 13 remarks, right? I don't want the tool to give us, the legal department, a lot of more work. So the first is more based on what we are doing. So the amount of time that the procurement department is investing in rewriting the specifications, and the quality is more the amount of time for the legal department to check everything in the outputs of the specification. Then maybe some essential requirements that I do think are quite important. This is not everything, but I'll just discuss what I think are some of the most important ones. Of course, I would say that the generated specification must ensure some kind of legal compliance. I mean, there is European law, and we want to make sure that the output is somewhat linked towards this law, right? That it doesn't really say things that are completely wrong, right? This also means, of course, that the clauses must remain adjustable and adaptable to different kind of contexts, procurement contexts. But I think this is also logical, right? It's something that you need to include. Secondly, I would like the system to ground its output in reliable information, by which I mean, but I think it's quite logical for something like this. I don't want to scrape the entire web, right? And then that the artificial intelligence is like linking its information towards like some Reddit post that was made 20 years ago. No, that's not the kind of information that we want to use to validate our procurement documents, right? And we want to rely mostly on like historical procurement documents that we already have written, right? We have a huge amount of them, thousands, and they are quite reliable information. This is only documents from our organization. I think it certainly wouldn't be bad to include maybe even some best practices from other organizations. And then maybe just, I do think that retrieval augmented generation could be useful, but I would like to use validated sources, right? Not just everything that you can find, right? Thirdly, I think that drafts that are generated must be fully editable, right? There has to be a kind of human in the loop process and the final sign off by the procurement experts or our legal team, just to guarantee some kind of control and accountability. I think this is standard practice in this kind of artificial intelligence projects, so I don't think that should be an issue. From a usability perspective, I think it would be great to have a kind of user-friendly interface, because, well, not everyone that works for the procurement department is an IT expert, right? So if they want to use a tool like this, it should be something that is quite easy to use, right? It should allow users to like easily edit clauses or maybe review certain suggestions. via, for example, a simple accept or reject flow, these kind of things, right? Then I do think also it's quite important to have a kind of context-aware drafting. This means that the system adapts the specification that it writes regarding to factors as the products you want to buy, or the kind of procedure that you are following, what is the budget, these kind of things, right? In my mind, you would maybe include a short worksheet with essential information that the system uses to think about, okay, I need to include this and this and this, right? And
So
finally,
recommendation.
Yeah, for example, yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, of course, even if it's still a pilot, I would like to have a kind of acceptable performance regarding response time and availability, right? Just so we can test the system properly. But I also think this is very standard for these kind of IT projects, right?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Okay. Then I maybe included also some nice to have requirements. So these are not, I would say, core requirements. But I would say that these kind of nice to have requirements could help us to ensure broader adoption in the future, not only within our organization, but also potentially across other public authorities, right? And one of the things that I know certain organizations really would like to have is real-time collaboration. So allowing multiple users to work on the same specification simultaneously, which could make it easier to improve coordination between procurement officers, the legal team, or other stakeholders, right? Another useful feature would be automated suggestions, which could improve the style of the document, clarity, legal phrasing. This could help ensure that the specifications are written consistently and professionally. I would say this is, for the procurement department of the city, less important because, well, most of the people that we use to write the specifications are already experts. But however, smaller contracts are not done by our department. They are done by smaller departments themselves. And there we do notice that especially legal phrasing is a huge issue. The quality of the output is quite often not that good. We get a lot of remarks, but even though we are not writing them. So I think especially for and I also know smaller organizations, smaller public authorities, they have a lot of issues with this because they don't have dedicated personnel who are writing these kind of procurement specifications every day. So regarding that, it would be very helpful, I think, if the tool could give them some suggestions of, hey, maybe you should, if they do edit things, maybe it could check it, right, to see if it's, well, phrased in the correct way.
So on that, this is going to be used, let's say everything is exactly aligned to what you're thinking. This is going to be used for all the small authority across the country of the procurement side of the house. Who's the end user?
Well, so first of all, of course, in the pilot, it will not be, we cannot really include every organization, right?
Of course,
I want to start with what we are doing. So the procurement department of the City of Ghent, like I said, we have around 12 people who draft this kind of specifications. We have a legal team of 2 to 3 people as well. I think they would be at first the main users, right?
Got it.
You would start with them. But with the nice to have things, I'm already looking forward because I think it would be crazy to create a tool like this to then only let it be used by, for example, our department, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
You need to look at the future. And I do think that since, especially first of all, even in our organization, so there are 12 people who are dedicatedly working on these procurement contracts, but this is not all of them. For example, for construction works, it's another department who is doing this. And this is also a very large part of our spending, which I did not already include in the project, but I want to start small. And then if we see that it works, I would like to expand first within our own organization, right? For the smaller procurement, but also for construction works, which is a very huge amount, like I said, of our spending. And then I do know that I am, for example, in contact with the Flemish government, with some other cities in our region as well, who are very interested in just to see. I cannot guarantee that they will
Of
immediately
course.
buy this kind of solution, right? But they are very interested in looking in how we are doing, because, well, this kind of technology, everyone is kind of very curious about it, but they are very risk averse, especially the region planners that I would say quite risk averse. So they want to see it being proved as working by someone else. And I think if
Yeah.
we can prove that, hey, we can use this, we can save time, it's a good quality of output, then I think there will be probably, hopefully, a lot of interested parties, right? Okay.
So if I may
Makes
add
sense.
to this, sorry, this is Elena Lopez from TIC Biomed. We're part of the InnoMatch consortium and also supported the City of Ghent to define this challenge. So Stephen, if I may add, so we see this is a common problem of many public authorities across Europe. Only in the InnoMatch project that hasn't been running for so long, like for 2 years, we've got this same problem from several organizations, not only
Got
from
it.
Belgium, but also from Spain. So we see the
Got it.
market potential. The challenge is indeed that you need to go and sell to each of them that are not connected. But the advantage that we see by collaborating with the City of Ghent is that you get like an early adopter, someone who has tried, who has demanded for it,
Makes
who has
sense.
provided real data to train the tool. So
good.
that's the advantage. But indeed, it's the kind of a fragmented market, let's say.
No, makes sense. And yeah, and I don't know how much you read into what we do. I think that all the capabilities here, I think we already have customers doing this, but the core difference, what we do is actually the contextualization of the actual meaning. That is the bread and butter of our differentiator compared to any generic legal. There's so many chatbot out there, right? That's why we're able to do what we do. Is the actual because we've been doing indexing, contextualizing for the past 10 years, right? So anyway, I won't go too much detail. Keep going. but I understand all these requirements. It's nothing new to us.
Yeah, that is good to hear, right? Yeah, I also see I will have to be a bit quickly. It's already time is passing quite quickly. I guess what is important for us, maybe a requirement that is not always included anywhere else, is that we do need to have some Dutch capabilities, because as a government organization, we're from Flanders, which is the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium, and we are obliged to create our drafting specifications in Dutch. It's something that we have to do according to law. Of course, I would like to also include some kind of English capabilities, because I think for adoption, this will probably be quite important, right? Because there's a lot of people working in English as well. Well, the other things I will skip for now, because I want to have enough time, maybe if there are still some questions. Or maybe also I want to discuss the scope of the pilot. Like I said, I don't want to include every contract that we are making at the same time. I think this is a bit too much for a pilot, right? But of course, this will also just depend on how quickly we could go, right? I would like to focus with the pilot, so on what we are doing as the procurement department of the City of Ghent. Maybe somewhere the range that I was thinking about is like between 20 or 50 real procurement cases within 1 or 2 different product categories. So I don't want we have like 12 different product categories, but I want to focus on 1 or 2 of them. At first, the things, those that make the most sense. The users that will be involved will be, of course, me, but then also our procurement officers, someone from the legal team, and several people from our IT department if we need them. Just to ensure that we have operational and governance perspectives both, right, in the project. I would say that we will focus primarily on using like kind of retrieval based approach, contextualized, like you said. And of course, these human in the loop approvals, right? Just to ensure that there is still some validation at the end. I will, of course, throughout the process, will collect user feedback, right? Just to measure, first of all, how accurate and compliant the generated specifications are, but also just to see if they have any suggestions. Because the procurement officers, of course, they are the ones who will use the tool. So I want to include them constantly in the project to see like how can we improve, what is necessary, right? And then hopefully the results of the pilot could help us also to inform into a strategy of how we can do a potential full-scale deployment in a later stage, not only for our department, but for the entire city, and then maybe even outside of the city as well.
What would that be? It will be on-premise, on the cloud, or somewhere in hybrid?
And this is something I still have to discuss with the IT department, because I know they have what they really would want to do. I think it probably, I would imagine it will be cloud-based, because from my experience, they are kind of stepping away from like hosting server-side themselves, because they want to do cost reduction, right? Hosting things themselves costs more money, but I cannot verify this 100%.
No, that's fine. But you guys are already working with like one of those major cloud providers.
Yes,
already.
I think
right?
it's like Azure. I think, but
Azure. Yeah, we're agnostic, but yeah, cool.
Okay. Then maybe I think there are quite a lot of benefits to the project, right? There's the impact is quite huge, not only for our department, but also the rest of the city. Like I said, we already have a procurement portfolio of over 200 million euros. This is not even all the procurements of the city. Like I said, construction is not included, smaller procurements are not included. So the spend is actually quite a lot higher, especially since like construction procurements are, let's say, very expensive. Beyond that, I do think that the potential market, like Elena also said, is much higher, right? I know of like at least a few public authorities in Belgium that face similar challenges, but it's actually almost all of them. Everywhere I hear the same problem. This takes a lot of time. We don't have the personnel for this. We want to do it more efficiently. So I think there's a huge market there. And beyond that, like I said, the potential market is much bigger. It's not only the problem in Belgium, it's the same problem everywhere in Europe. So I would say, a huge market there.
Yeah.
Internally, I would start with gradually rolling this out. So we should start with our department. I would like to expand then, if we see that it works, to other departments of the city as well. So we can include every kind of procurement that we have. There's also, we have like 2 observing buyers of this project, who are also via the InnoMatch project, who are looking into what we are doing. This is the city of Haarlem and Renfe. It's a Spanish train service provider, I think, is how it's called in English. So it also already shows that this is only within the InnoMatch project, but already there are interest from other companies, right?
Makes sense.
So yeah, that's I would say the main thing.
Thank you. So is this time for questions? I think we only have a couple minutes.
Yes, now it's time for Q&A. Go ahead, Steven.
How you like to have the proposal that you mentioned? Is it like a certain format, written form, PowerPoint slide, whatever it is? It's fine. It's just curious as what would be the easiest for you to consume the information.
This is on me.
Okay.
I'll directly jump in. As I've presented during the OpenCall info presentation, there is a proposal template for you to prepare for the proposal and submit it, because at the end of the day, the proposal will be evaluated, and this is important to mention, and thank you for this question, by external evaluators. Especially here, since the City of Ghent is a public authority, public buyer, I believe it will be better that they do not take part in the selection process, so that the criteria are clear, but then the proposal, and that is why we do it, is evaluated by external experts and selected based on the 4 evaluation criteria described in your proposal template. So I was just going to add here the link to the open call. So if you're interested in the City of Ghent challenge, please do check the open call page. check the proposal template, the guidelines that I've mentioned, fill in the proposal template and submit it online through the App Success platform. And then your proposal will be evaluated by external experts and eventually selected. Again, for this matchmaking session, we've selected already invited companies that are the best match for this innovation challenge. One of those companies is yours. And those companies are now invited to prepare the proposal and submit it. That's how InnoMatch works. I hope this answers your question.
No, absolutely. And then, sorry, I might have missed the date of when this proposal and decision, all of that.
Until April 17th. So you
Got
should
it.
submit your proposal by April 17th when the call closes.
Got it. Makes sense. And then this particular link I saw in the chat here, that is the exact application template.
I will now put it in the chat for you,
I
but
added
also you
in
will
a-
receive an email.
Perfect.
Sorry?
Thank you.
No, sorry, I was saying that I added it in the chat, but it's the
Ah,
same. So basically,
okay.
Steven, you will see there all the documentation, including the proposal template. And if only I may add there, it's a relatively simple application. It's not, like European projects proposals of 60, 70 pages. It's much shorter. And well, Ina mentioned there are more companies invited, but they were also invited to this webinar and they are not here. So let's say that you have leverage in that sense.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But yeah, indeed, the proposal.
Yeah.
If anything is not clear, please do reach out. We'll explain, we'll support you throughout the process. For sure, we're here for that. And as Elena mentioned, the proposal template is up to 10 pages, like information that you have to provide based on the City of Ghent challenge that Jorno already presented. And you will receive a follow-up email from our
I'll
colleague
send a follow-up
Carolina.
email, step by step with guidelines, with links, just so you can have everything in your inbox and it can help you with your application.
With the recording, with the presentation of
Exactly.
the today's sessions, we'll have all
Thank
the
you.
information and we wait for your application.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. No, this is actually maybe you might like one more questions from me on my side on the requirement because as I mentioned, our bread and butter is about contextualizing what we kind of like the knowledge foundation, understand all your historical presence and contextualize the way that consumable. But then my question is more around: do you have a preference like types of applications that you guys use? Because we have it too, but we do have customer A. I'm really attached to Azure. I want your data to be connected to Copilot. Then Copilot could be smart. You do have a preference of those things, or if not, then I will just put together a proposal. That's all.
So this is something I have already tried to discuss with with our IT department. They are currently looking into the kind of strategy they have on this. I do think that in the future, I'm hoping that they will use Copilot Studio for like these kind of things, but I cannot really guarantee it right now. They are still discussing this, right?
Got it.
But I think we are quite flexible on this as well, right?
Got it.
I don't think we are looking, especially because this is a kind of innovative procurement, right? I don't want to limit ourselves to one kind of solution, right? I want to look at what our partners can provide, and then we can work together and look at something that could work for both parties.
Because I tell you, we are flexible too, because that's why I asked the question. Because as I mentioned, our bread and butter is understanding all your information, right? But then we do have customers, hey, I want to use AWS, right? I want to use Azure. And then because why Copilot is not smart? Because they don't have that knowledge base, what I was talking about. Anyway, understood. I know what to do. Okay.
Great. It's good to hear. Thanks.
Okay. That's all I have. No, appreciate it. This is very helpful. And I'm looking forward to dive deep into this area with my team. And then I can tell you, I definitely you will see the proposal from Iris on this front.
Thank you so much, Steven, and thank you, Jorn, for everything. Well, I guess if there are no other questions, we can conclude the matchmaking session. As I said, I'll follow up with all the links, slides, recordings, and you'll have all the information available. And yeah, hopefully this can continue in the long run. So yeah, thank you all for joining, and have a lovely end of the day and a lovely weekend.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate
Have a
everyone.
good
Nice to meet you all.
weekend.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.